Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Slim, aka Mr. Different, back with a new video. I know right now you're looking at a weird camera angle of my interface and my preamp, but today is going to be a part series on how to mix and master vocals. This is part one. We're talking about gain staging, which is the most important part, in my opinion, of recording vocals, because what you get going into your interface is what you're going to get coming out. So you got a good signal coming in, you're going to get a good signal coming out of your interface. So do keep that in mind. So first off, we'll look at how to set up your interface and how to set the levels and all that kind of stuff. So as you can see right here, I have a Focusrite interface. It's a older Firewire interface, and up top you can see my hopefully you can see it in frame, but my external preamp that I'm using. This is the Joe Meek Q3, a very inexpensive preamp. It's about $250, but it's very good for reasons. I'll do a review of it or show it off for why I picked the preamp and do some tests before and after. But the main thing is setting your levels correctly when you're doing music. Now, as you can see, as I'm talking, you're looking at my levels, and my levels are like really, it looks like it's really low, but you know, you can hear me very clear and all that because I'm using external preamp to give the volume. But you want to kind of keep your levels at a reasonable level, because if you go into the red, like if I crank up my output and I go louder, I'm distorting, and you don't want that, because once something is distorted, you cannot bring it back. That's just how it is. If it's too quiet, you can essentially bring it up to a reasonable listening level, but once it is distorted and clipped, it's gone forever. You can't. And that's one thing I see a lot of people have. They will record stuff too loud or too hot, which means they record it in the red, and the red light be coming on and it be distorted, and then when they give it to me for mixing, they're like, can you make this sound good? I'm like, no, you need to re-record this because I can't do nothing with it. It's distorted, it's gone forever. You can always add distortion as a plug-in, but if you record some distorted, it's gone. Let's like a guitar, which, you know, some people do that for, you know, guitars, but that's a totally different thing. So what you need to keep in mind when setting your preamp, now, first off, most of you guys are gonna have like an interface like this. So excuse the preamp right now, but interface this. You're gonna plug your microphone into like the first 1 or 2 channels right here. Turn your fan and power on, and then you're gonna start cranking up your gain. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're doing that is you want to try to aim for, you know, at the loudest point. So as you are speaking at your loudest, you want to, you know, go no past, like, I guess on this one, it has 3 green dots, a yellow dot, and then a red dot. I try to aim for, at my loudest peak, I'm only hitting that green, that third green dot, because that's how I know, because that's where I know is like, you know, the best sounding in terms of the sound quality. And I know I'm not going to clip at the end, and when I'm screaming or somebody's screaming or recording, you know, their vocals, I know they're not going to be clipping when they're getting super loud, because a lot of these artists nowadays like to scream and yell, and it just kind of keeps it, you know, in tame. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So you'll plug up your interface, turn your fan and power, and just adjust your gain. Like I said, wrap your vocals, or let them rap or do whatever it is, and adjust it until it's like, you know, like where it is right now, where see it's got 2 dots right there going, or 3 dots. So I can actually give a little bit more gain right here, as you see now. Yeah, you know, it's good, you know, still good, still at a reasonable level, and you can hear me really well. I actually like this level right here. I'm gonna keep it right here, I guess. So yeah, that's one way to go about it. Now, if you have a preamp like this right here, which is my Joe Meek 3Q pre, I'm gonna show you there's 2 ways to connect the preamp. Any preamp don't really matter. I suggest if you're gonna buy an external preamp, spend a good bit of money, $250 on up. You can get a pretty decent preamp that sounds really good and gives you them cheaper little $100 preamps and stuff like that are worthless, or especially those like $50 preamps. They're useless. Don't buy them. Don't waste your time. Skip on. But you actually buy you a quality preamp. This has a great circuitry and all kind of stuff, and got EQ and compression built into it, which I really like. And plus, it's in a desktop format, which makes everything a whole lot easier when recording. So I like that. But if you're gonna use your preamp, there's 2 ways to set it up. The first way I see a lot of people doing, which is technically wrong, but you can still do it this way, is they'll plug their interface up in here, they'll turn on their fan and power, which mine's in the back, I already got turned on, and then they'll take the output of their preamp and plug it into the first one. Now you can do that, of course, and then they'll turn like the gain up and do like that, which is wrong. Absolutely wrong. Don't do that. When you use a external preamp and you plug it into like the first 2 preamps right here, you want to make sure your gain is all the way at 0, and you want to use the preamp gain and the preamp output to adjust your level, which that's what I'm doing. So you want to do it that way. That way you're not double preamping it. So you're not using this preamp plus these preamps. When you got turned to 0, it is not using the preamp. It's still technically using a little bit of the preamp, but it's not using like if you have it like right here, because that can damage your interface for one, blow out your preamps, and also give you a very distorted and undesirable noise in your recording, which you don't want to do that. So do keep that in mind when you're doing it. Now the correct way to do it is, which way I'm doing it, is I'm taking the output and I'm plugging it into the back of my interface, because my interface has 2 extra line inputs, which is just regular line inputs, not the combo jacks where you can put XLR in line. It's just a regular line input, and what that's doing is it's bypassing the preamp of the interface, so you're only hearing the preamp of my external preamp, which is the correct way to do it. I'll put a little diagram on the video, whatever. I'll try to make one and I'll put it up there. And that's how you're supposed to properly do it. You want to go into a line input, so you're bypassing the preamps of the interface completely, and you're just hearing the external preamp, and that's the way you want to do it. And then you want to set your gain and your output to a reasonable level to where it sounds really good, and that's how you do it. And that is the correct way to actually hook up a external preamp with a interface. I don't see a lot of videos talking about that, but that's one way to do it. But the main thing to keep in mind is you just don't want to distort when you are doing this. You want to make sure you have reasonable levels, because at the end of the day, you can always bring stuff up, but you cannot bring it back down when information is clipped or lost. So keep that in mind. So like I said, this is a very short little video. It's not all flashy and all that. I know you guys want to see how to EQ and compress and all that, but you need to know this, because if you get a good vocal recording take, you will have a good vocal in the end and have no problem mixing and mastering it and that kind of stuff. So hope you guys enjoy. Like always, if you got any questions, please leave it in the description box below. I'll get to you as soon as possible, and I'll be bringing part 2, part 3, and so on, depending on how long it's going to be in the future. So I hope you guys are going to stay tuned for that. Subscribe for more information, and also, you know, check me out on Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud for just to keep in date and all that kind of stuff. Also on Instagram too as well. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoy. Like always, you know who it is. It is your boy Slim, aka Mr. Different, not motivated by the money, but the like, comment, subscribe, and views. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one, everybody.